Hi guys, welcome back to Hair Dry Treatment with me, Soph. Richard's Ramble is back. I haven't done one of these for a while and I thought this week was a good week to do one. I hope you're doing very, very well. I'm doing it off the laptop today, so it's something a little bit different. I haven't obviously done one for a while. But yeah, I hope you're all doing really, really well. I thought today we'd discuss a lot of topics obviously to do with the world of football right now. What's been going on, particularly obviously at United. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to delving into some topics. And United's big topic at the minute, obviously, is to do with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I saw a few tweets saying actually he shouldn't be United manager anymore. A few tweets saying that he's been tactically outclassed in the last few games. What I say to that is absolutely crazy. For me, Ole is the guy. He deserves to keep the job. Yes, we've had a few dodgy results. I completely understand that. And of course, we are a bit concerned. More about, not the fact that we lost, because all credit to Wolves, they deserve that. But I think more to do with the fact that it was the manner in which we lost. We were completely outplayed in that game. I thought players looked very, very tired. As you know, personally, for me, that Wolves game was terrible. I definitely haven't lived it down yet. But you got, after my fan cam and things like that, you've got to look at it and think, you know what, the players are shattered. Let's face it. I think Rashford looks absolutely wiped off his feet, and the international break, I think, it has come at a bad time for him because I think he needs a rest. But there's a few players, obviously, who have been called up for internationals and pulled out due to injuries. So it's obvious that players are being rushed back from injury a bit too soon as well, which a lot of people are discussing as well. But yeah, all in all, I think we've got to look at it in a more realistic way, and I think Ole is the guy. However, yes, tactically we do need to improve. I think Deadwood is a massive issue at United, and we've said that from the off. It's not going to be a quick fix, and that does need to change. And I think that highlighted it the other day. If you look at our bench against Wolves, realistically, who are you going to bring on? There's no one really you can bring on in that game to change it. There's far too many players who are very similar, in my opinion, in the squad. And that's where we really lost it. I thought players weren't fully fit. We looked tired. And yet our bench wasn't strong enough. But fair play to Wolves. And I hope they're going to win it now. I really do. Well, let's have a look at some of your comments. A lot of people tuning in, which is really good. I hope you're all doing well. Red Bearded Red is tuning in. Hi, I hope you're good, Andrew. Let me know what you thought about the game the other day as well. Mo Sheen says, how are you? I'm very good. I've just got back from work, which is why you're seeing a more formal outfit today. I've literally not long got in from work. But I'm very well, thanks. How are you? Ole is our new manager. Ole is the guy. He is the guy. It still has to be Ole. He has done wonders since coming. Sorry, but unless the wheels completely fall off, it just has to be. And I originally wanted Poch. So there you go. So Pochettino is the other name, obviously, that is rumoured to be coming to United. Pochettino, don't get me wrong, I really rate him as a manager. But I think Ole has won a lot of people around since coming in at United. So Ole is the guy. He deserves it, definitely for me. Yes, the squad needs to improve, and I'm hoping that Ole is the guy to do that. But you need to give him time. We haven't even given him time, really, to sign any players or do anything with the squad, really. He shipped Fellaini out, which people liked. So let's just give him time. Let's see, eh? Chanel says, hi, Sophie. I think we need to give it until the end of the season. I love the baby face. Yeah, I think end of the season is a good shit. If we get top 4, obviously, that is fantastic. If we don't get top 4, though, would you still give Ole the job? Because top 4 was completely out of the question when he took over, and now look at it. He's put us in a much better state. And I think to judge it on top 4, I think that is a bit harsh as well, personally, because if you look what he took over, injuries haven't helped. We've had an awful spell with injuries. And that needs to be taken into account as well. So I think as long as we bounce back, which we definitely need to bounce back now, we haven't lost 2 on the bench under Solskjaer. International break may have come at a good time or a bad time. We'll see after and how to judge that. But yeah, for me, Ole is the guy, and the people putting him down so early, people are saying the glory hunters. I'm not going to say that. We all want the best for United, of course we do, and everyone is entitled to their opinion. I, at first, wanted Jose to stay. My opinion soon changed, and I'm hoping Ole has already changed so many opinions, and I'm hoping he can continue to do that, but better, of course. If you are to sell free, buy free, who would they be? Let me have a think about that one. That's a very good question. One person I want to buy is Koulibaly. Sell Phil Jones. Sell Darmian. And sell. Who's my third one I'd sell? I'm not going to say Lukaku because he scored some important goals for us. But the third one I'm struggling with, Phil Jones, Darmian. Darmian is an awkward. I do feel a bit sorry for Darmian because I think he hasn't really been given a fair trial. I think he's proved he can defend. In terms of buying though, Koulibaly, Griezmann is another name that's been battered. I always wanted Griezmann at United, so I'd definitely take him back. And I also wanted to see Memphis back as well, which is one that people are a bit unsure about. Poch has made more miracles, but what has Poch won? That's what I'm going to throw back to that one. What do you think about Ed Woodward signing 6 players? It depends on the players because we don't want to sign players who aren't going to benefit the team or make us any better. We've got, like I've already said, we've got too many players who are very, very similar in our squad, in my opinion. So we need to definitely make sure we strengthen, or we're buying for the future with the likes of someone like Sancho, someone who's going to implicate the squad in the future. That's the kind of signing we need to make. What position do you play and what role within the position? Normally, I play holding midfielder, CDM. But to be honest, with my new team, I've been playing front three, and I've been playing to the left of a front three. So it varies really. I'd say I'm quite a versatile player. Poch, please no. 100% Ollie. He deserves a transfer window at the very least. That is my opinion, definitely. Rashford looks totally off his game lately, even against PSG. I called it against PSG. I said he didn't do much, to be honest, in the PSG game, but you know what? He showed guts, didn't he? And he showed determination to stand up and take that penalty. Fair play to him. I don't think I could bring myself to do that. So fair play. He did a great job doing that. He obviously put the penalty away as well, and it takes some character to do that. So I think he has been off form, but I think that, he's been injured. He played through an injury, then he came straight back. I think he needs a bit of a rest, and I'm hoping that the international break isn't going to turn out to be a bad thing for him. I'm hoping that he's going to regain his form and have a little bit of a rest. I don't want to see him picking up another injury on the international break. So fingers crossed for that one. But I do love Rashford. He's one of my favourite players, definitely. He's been in fantastic form, no doubt about it. But I think he's very tired, and he hasn't fully recovered from that injury as well. Who do you think who will win the Premier League, City or Liverpool? Or any other teams? It's such a tough one to call. I've said all along, Liverpool will bottle it, City will win the league. But now I must admit, I watched Liverpool again the other day against Fulham, and they're managing to find the goals when they're most needed. They're not performing very well, but they're still winning games. And it kills me to say it, but I can see Liverpool winning it this season. I really can. I think it's becoming more and more inevitable, really. But you have a choice as a United fan. Do you want to see City win the league, possibly win the quadruple, or would you rather Liverpool win the league this season? And I find that so horrible because I kind of think us winning the treble is so special, and Liverpool winning the league won't overshadow that. Whereas City winning the quadruple, it's kind of a bit like they've got the bragging rights then. You won 3 or we've won all 4. And I don't want anything to tank that, if that makes sense. So it's a hard one. But I do think that Liverpool are going to win it this season, and that's changed my opinion because at first I did say they were going to bottle it, but they're just impressing me, and I think it's Van Dijk. Van Dijk has strengthened them so much, and I think he's such an influential part of their squad. I know he made a mistake the other day, and people are saying he's the best defender in the world at the minute, but I think he has been such an improvement on Liverpool, and that's why I'm swaying more towards them. Saeed, tuning in. Thank you, Saeed, for tuning in. I hope you're good. Andrew says, here's a question for yourself. How many starters do we need to bring into the 11? Personally, feel it's 3 or 4 with a centre-back, a right winger, a right-back and a CDM being priorities. You know what? I would completely agree. We definitely need another centre-back to pair with Lindelof. A right-back, obviously, Ash Young is on his last legs. I do like Ashley Young, but we do need someone to replace him. So I would agree with those 2. A right winger. What right winger are we talking? Because Sancho, we need to see him in a Premier League team. He's been impressing out in Germany, yes. But is he going to be good enough yet for the Premier League on a consistent basis? Of course, I hope he is. But in my opinion, he's definitely not a £100 million player. And he says a CDM, Matic, obviously very slow. I do like Matic, and he has been much improved under Solskjaer. But I think his pace, the way he's so left-footed as well. I spoke about Martial making a run in the Wolves game and Matic having to get it onto his left foot before even thinking about that pass. And by the time he's done that, that movement has gone. And I think he is so one-sided, it's unreal. So for me, Matic, yes, I would replace him too. So I would agree with that. I think 4 is the right amount of players that we need to definitely replace in our squad. And I do actually think the CDM is one of the most important positions that we need to replace at the minute. Indeed, he would be a good option at CDM. Very good shout. Very good shout. He's very young as well, isn't he? So indeed, he's a good one. Ryan says, what's your thoughts on Leeds potentially coming up south? I love the idea of Leeds coming up. I watched their game at the weekend knowing they lost. They went to pot, didn't they? Against Sheffield United. But I would absolutely love Leeds coming back. I think rivalries like that, big teams coming back up into the Premier League, I want to see more of that. And it just makes it more exciting each week because you've got that passion going into rivalries. I mean, Liverpool is obviously our biggest rivalry, isn't it? We think about it. Man City, yes, but Liverpool is the one. And Leeds coming up will just give us another fixture where it just gets the fans up for it, gets the players up for it, and it's a lot more old school. So I'm all for it. I hope they do come up. And like I say, they're playing some fantastic football this season, Leeds. They really are. So I would love to see them back in the Premier League. Obviously, I would love to see us batter them as well. South would definitely take Nevers, being from the area. Real talk though, I'd take Nevers all day long. You know what? I do really rate Nevers, but the one player for me from Wolves who was fantastic, and he was superb the other night. I've got to admit, it was Moutinho. What a bargain he was for Wolves. He bossed the game the other day. He really did. His passing, the way he was nicking the ball back, his vision was superb as well. He just makes Wolves tick a lot of the time, and I think Moutinho was an absolute steal. I really do. And he partners Nevers perfectly in that midfield. He's like the perfect partner for him. So I think Man United sign CDM Nevers, another vote for Nevers. All managers have blips in their career. I think Ollie's the best man for the job. Calling for his head is stupid. Get behind him. Believe in the team. Completely agree with that. Completely agree. Why is there no middle ground with Pogba? Either he's so good or he's invisible. What a comment that is. I completely agree. I get a lot of stick because I like Pogba, but there's too many Pogba fangirls, fanboys out there. Too many people, because of his brand and because he's such a big name, that they kind of see past his poor performances. And for me, the other day against Wolves again, it was shocking. Taking too many touches in the middle. People were saying, oh yeah, but he was trying to make stuff happen. He's trying to do it all himself. But towards the end of the game, he was ambling around, a bit like what we saw under Jose Mourinho. He didn't seem very interested. He was meant to be the leader on the pitch. He wasn't at all. And I was really disappointed. And I think, I'm not hating on Pogba. I love Paul Pogba. He's one of my favourite players. However, I just think he's been really disappointing last few games. And we saw a spell when Solskjaer first took over where everyone was like, Pogba, the best midfielder in the world. Absolutely fantastic. He's bossing games. But then he has another blip again. And I just don't think we see consistent enough from Paul Pogba. For someone who, I know it's horrible to mention the fee again, but we've paid so much money for him, I want to see more from Pogba. And it's only because we know he has got the potential. That's why we get so stressed and on his back so much, is because we know he's got so much potential, but we need to see more of it. And I think against Wolves the other day, he was the captain, and I think it proves that the captaincy doesn't have a good effect on Paul Pogba. I think he tries too hard, and yeah, I want more from Pogba. I don't think he's been good enough. I certainly do not overlook his performances of late. And he's one of the first names. I've already said Rashford hasn't been good enough. Pogba is another one, definitely. Do I want us to keep Ander Herrera? Yes. He's one of my favourite players as well. Herrera's passion, he's very tenacious. I think he isn't fully fit. I think that showed against Wolves. He wasn't his normal self in the middle. But he would be one of the first names on the team sheet for me because I think he battles so much in the middle. He starts a lot of our attacks as well, our counter-attacks in particular, from the little interceptions he makes. So I certainly wouldn't like to play against Herrera in the middle. He'd be like a wasp, wouldn't he, when you just can't get rid of him. So I would keep him, definitely. He needs that new contract, though. Ander should be captain, a lot of people saying. He's the one vote that I had as well. I said Ander for captain. Would you bring in Wan-Bissaka from Palace? Wan-Bissaka, he's impressing me more and more, to be honest. He seems to be getting better and better. I think going forward, he's very, very talented. And he's got the attributes, definitely. He's very quick, he's strong. very agile, and I think yes, why not? Why not go for Wan-Bissaka? He's Premier League proven as well. I know he's still very young, but he's been doing very well in the league. So I would be very, very happy in bringing him in. I still think obviously there's a lot of work that needs to be done with him. He'll need a lot of coaching. Defensively, he's still questionable. However, in terms of right backs in the league at the minute, you'd have to say we'd be struggling. So Wan-Bissaka would be one I'd bring in. And Luke Shaw, I was trying to touch on, we're talking about fullbacks at the minute. Luke Shaw, for me, he hasn't nailed down his spot. He had a few good games. Very disappointing again the other day. He plays too safe for my liking. He never looks fully certain or fully confident in what he's going to do. He always looks like he wants to play the safe pass all the time, Luke Shaw, for me. And that's why I'm not fully sold on him as our left back. But you need to think, what fullbacks are there in the world? Are there many world-class fullbacks out there at the minute? So it's more of a scouting mission, really, to find someone. Look at Delo, very young player, gone under the radar, and we signed him out of the blue, really, and he's continuing to impress us. So I think we're relying on our scouts, really, to be looking for our fullback replacements. Herrera, Sophie, and Pogba in midfield. I'd take that one, definitely. Herrera, Fred, and Pogba in midfield. Fred, again, I was really disappointed, to be honest, he wasn't given a start against Wolves, because I think he's earned the right to. I thought against Arsenal, he played all right. He didn't do too bad. I thought he was a poor team performance. Well, it wasn't a poor team performance. We played pretty well. Let's face it, we did play pretty well. Obviously, we didn't get the result, but I thought Fred did okay. And obviously, against PSG, I thought he was absolutely superb. So I was gutted not to see him starting again against Wolves. I was really expecting him to be given that game. So I felt a bit sorry for him. But Fred, I'm not going to say I definitely want him starting next season, because I haven't seen enough of him. However, the last 2 games when he has played, he's been superb. So more of that from Fred, please. Definitely more of that. 60 million crazy transfers have increased these days. Well, it's a bit like the 100 million for Sancho, isn't it? Because he's young and he's English. That's the only reason why he's going for that much. It's ridiculous money. Matthew says we could try Fred as a defensive midfielder, rotating with McSaucy. Yeah, we could. McTominay, again, for me, is better than Matic in that holding role, because he actually passes forward. He can use both feet. He's quite a big lad as well, isn't he, McTominay? So he's physical in the middle, wins a lot of headers. So I would like to see him starting over Matic in the next game. So yeah, we definitely could rotate those two in that holding role. The only thing I will say is Fred isn't as disciplined as in holding position in the midfield. Is really important that you stay disciplined and you're obviously shielding the defence, making interceptions. Whereas Fred is a bit more, need I say it, like a headless chicken. He's more of a box-to-box, isn't he? Because of the amount of energy he's got. So I don't think he is disciplined enough to sit in that holding role. That's my opinion, but obviously I need to see him there. But McTominay, I would definitely like to see him taking over the Matic role. I don't believe the hype around Wilfried Zaha. When he went to United, it was too soon for him. Zaha is one of these players, isn't he, where he's on form. He's a world beater. But it's very rare that you see him having one of those games, isn't it? He's kind of like a 2 out of 10 kind of guy player. He'll have 2 games where he has absolutely worldies, turns players inside out, impossible to defend against, but then he'll have other games where he's kind of rolling around the floor, flitting in and out of games, doesn't really have an impact. So I think he's not consistent enough, especially for United, he's not. But on his day, there's no player like him. He's incredible on his day, but we just don't see that day enough. Ryan says, would you take Memphis Depay back? Yes, I would. To be honest, I really liked Memphis at United. It didn't work out. I was gutted when we sold him, but I always really liked him. I think he had something about him. I know he's very arrogant, and he had that bit of a, you could say, rap star kind of lifestyle, didn't he? He's still got that. But he's been doing well in the French League. French League, I say wisely. Oh, I would love to see him back at United, I really would. Mosheen says he wants Ronaldo at United. Matthew says Zaha is overrated. He only gets decent numbers because he's been the only focal point for Palace. Not good or consistent enough for United. I think Zaha likes to be the big fish in the little pond. That's the kind of impression I get. Like, he likes being the main guy at Palace. He thrives on that. But when he's surrounded by players who are better than him, even in like bigger games where he's against players who are better than him, he kind of hides. It doesn't have as much of an impact on games, and I think you're completely right, Matthew. I agree, he is overrated. On his day, though, he is fantastic. There is definitely an agenda against Paul Pogba from United, a lot of United fans. It's very sad to see. I wouldn't say it's an agenda. I would say more it's high expectation because we know the ability the kid's got, and we want to see more of that. That's what it is from my point of view, anyway. Paul Pogba is a fantastic talent. We've seen it in spells. We've seen him drive through the middle. He's unstoppable. But we need to see more of that. And I love Pogba, and that's my opinion on him. But let's just say when's the next career mode? It will be tomorrow. Tomorrow at 6 PM. Solskjaer is back. An agenda against Paul Pogba, but he will never play and perform in big games against big opponents. I want to say never. I thought last year when we beat Arsenal and he got sent off in that game, obviously at the Emirates, I thought he was probably our best player on the pitch. I thought Lingard, him, and Martial were superb that evening, to be honest. So I wouldn't say he never performs in big games. I just think, obviously, against bigger teams, they target Paul Pogba, they mark him, they double up on him because they know he's such a threat. I wouldn't say he hides as such. In some games, yes, that is the case. But I wouldn't say every game that he disappears. If you think of the City game, when he got the double, the 2 goals back, he showed a lot of fight in that game as well. So I wouldn't say he never does it in big games. I'd just say that he's one of our biggest threats. And so opposition teams very cleverly stick men on Pogba. So do you think we still need to appoint a director of football? Yes, I think it's mad that we haven't got one, to be honest with you. Your dad must have been the Archbishop of Canterbury this week for you, Soph. Archbishop of Banterbury, definitely. Bantosaurus Rex. There's a lot of young English players coming through. Even Valerie for Southampton, who scored an absolute mad goal against us, yeah. Madison at Leicester, Hudson-Odoi, who's just been called up to the England squad, and Greenwood. There are a lot, but I think all young English players, and it's a thing in this country, we hype them up so much that if you look at the likes of Walcott, for example, he's always one that sticks in my head. My dad said in that preview, didn't he? He said that he once watched Walcott play for England, get a hat-trick and be the worst player on the pitch. Theo Walcott, very overrated because he was young, he was English, he was quick, he was coming through the ranks, and people overhyped him. And I think that always happens with our young English players, and that's why I'm really apprehensive about the likes of Sancho because I haven't seen enough of him. I'm not saying he hasn't got ability and potential, he definitely has, but to be quoted 100 million I think is bizarre, and it's only because they're English. I really do think that. Bantan Dex says Matthew. Barcelona will be another test for Pogba. He definitely needs to make a stand in that game, Paul Pogba. I read something the other day where people are saying that he wants to go to Madrid to Zidane. I hope that really isn't the case. I actually had someone say they'd bet me money on it, which is worrying. But yeah, Pogba needs to make a stand in that game. We need him to dominate in the middle, definitely. And I'm hoping he can do that because we need him to do that in order for us to be given a chance of winning that game. The midfield will be crucial. Worth making an approach for Hudson-Odoi. I don't think Chelsea would sell him to us. I really don't. I think out of the two, to be honest, I would rather have Sancho. Hudson-Odoi, I haven't really seen enough of him really to say I rate him that highly. I think he looks decent, but I couldn't see him starting week in, week out for United. What do you think the reason was for our poor performance against Wolves, specifically the front three? I think the players look absolutely shattered. If I'm honest, before the game I was watching them warm up and I had a feeling, I was thinking, you know what, we're not going to win this game tonight. We're not going to win this game, and I was dreading it. But I think the players are tired. I think players aren't fully fit. Maybe been rushed back from injury far too soon as well. And the obvious one, when you look at our bench in that game, not strong enough. We haven't got enough players competing for places. If you think about that game, we're looking for a goal and you bring the likes of McTominay on. It's just not good enough, is it? And we just didn't have enough in that game. And I think if we had a fully fit team, obviously, Lingard, we'd definitely see more of him in that game. Herrera would have bossed the middle a lot more than he did. And I just think we just weren't at it. We weren't 100% in that game at all. Sancho won't take us to the next level yet. He needs another season in Dortmund. I've got to agree with that one. I don't know if he is good enough really to take us to that next level. Bench was worrying, especially not having any attacking options coming off the bench. yeah, like Fred was probably at, and Herrera obviously. And in all fairness, Herrera did come on, and the first thing he did was have a shot. And I know it wasn't the best shot, but he had a shot which was positive, which is more than what we saw for the majority of the game. So he was probably our most attacking option along with Fred. We suffered against Wolves because we weren't running the kind of miles under Ollie as we did. I'm guessing you're meaning because since Ollie's taken over, we're running a lot more. Players aren't fit enough and they're shattered from running so much. I'm guessing that's what you meant in that message. Sancho price will go up next summer. Koulibaly or Delete. Koulibaly is the guy that I've wanted at United. I think he looks an absolute beast. I think he'd be perfect for us at the back. I think he'd be suited to the Premier League. However, Delete, you've got to say he's an outstanding talent, isn't he? So it's a really hard one. I'd be happy with either of them. I think both of them would be a massive improvement on the defenders we've got. The choice I would have would be Koulibaly, but I would be very, very happy with Delete. I think United can beat Barcelona, do you? If we play like we did against Wolves, no. But of course, look what happened in Paris. None of us really expected that, if we're honest. Of course we can, but it depends how we turn up on the day. We need our players on their A game, we really do, and we need our players to be 100% fit. That's the biggest thing, because I think under Wolves they definitely were not. Hope your dad isn't driving you mad with the result. My dad supports Chelsea, and last season FA Cup final reaction was brutal. My dad, to be honest with you, he had a few missed calls off him. Not long after, I didn't answer because I was doing my fan cams and stuff. Genuinely didn't answer for those reasons. I wasn't just blanking him because I knew it was coming. But all I did was send him a simple text after the game saying, "I owe you a tenner." And then the next morning he called me, and it wasn't actually too bad. It's more my cousins, and like I say, I work in a school in Wolverhampton, so a lot of the kids have been like, "Oh, Miss, what was the school like this?" and smirking at me around the school. So it's not been too bad. I expected a lot worse, but going to work every day has been torture. Definitely torture. Ollie may rush them back. Quality is there, so most likely just shattered. Pogba had a poor game, which cost us. Pogba did have a poor game. He was trying to do it all himself, to be honest with you. Here's a hell of a question. Varane, Delete or Koulibaly? Wow, what a question that is. See, Varane, when we were linked with him under Van Gaal, I was thinking, I would love Varane at United. Definitely would love Varane at United. And obviously that didn't come about. I think he ended up getting a new deal at Real Madrid, didn't he, at the time? So Varane, because he is French as well, obviously is a positive. I've already seen a video of him doing a handshake with Pogba, obviously Martial being French as well. It's all positive. However, for me, I'd still have to say Koulibaly or Delete would be my preferred choices. I really would have to say one of those two. But Varane, he is quality. He's quick as well for a centre-back. He really is. But I think I've been hyping myself up watching Koulibaly videos thinking, you know what, we might actually get him. And I've been so set on Koulibaly from the off, really. But again, a bit like the Delete and Koulibaly situation, I would take any of them. I wouldn't turn down Varane coming to United. I definitely wouldn't be disappointed if he came to United as well. A really, really good question. Someone said, imagine all three. Now you're just getting greedy. Rabiot for free, would you take him? No. Purely because the politics around his deal. I think his mum is his agent, isn't she? And she's terrible. It seems to have a real bad attitude problem, and I think there's more problems off the pitch. On the pitch he's fantastic, but off the pitch I don't think we need that kind of leech in our club, if you like, that kind of snake, that kind of Di Maria in our club. We don't need someone like that in the dressing room. So no is my answer to Rabiot. I wouldn't take him at United. So many questions about centre-backs here. But you know what, let's move on from centre-backs for a second and let's talk about the CDM options. Because someone mentioned Ndidi earlier. It's a good one. Idrissa Gueye is another one that I've heard rumoured. You got to think, how many players out there, really, would you take in our CDM role? Like, who would you get in that role other than Matic? To replace Matic, of course. Doucouré from Watford, good shout. Ndombele, Neves, the CDM. I think out of all of them, you'd have to say, like, I think my dad touched on this as well in the preview, but he said about Neves, he would take he's the one player he thinks that could suit United's style perfectly because of Rashford being the forward player. His vision and obviously his passing ability, he thinks that he'd be really effective on the counter attack, which I do agree with. But I think we need someone who's going to break the play up. He's not that tenacious player as Neves. He's more of a ball player. So I think we need someone like Ndidi, like Kante would surely be the ideal one. But is he going to come from Chelsea realistically? So Neves, if you're looking for a ball player in that position, it's got to be him. Personally, I want to see someone more tenacious in there. So I would go Kante. But it's interesting, isn't it? It depends what style we're going to play next season. Are we going to have the three in the middle and obviously three going forwards? Is that what we're going to play, or are we going to change our system? Only Ollie will know that, because Ollie is going to be here next season, remember. Ollie is the guy. Have to say positive, we definitely do. Dillick is going to Barcelona to play with his current teammate, Frankie. Yeah, I know, obviously Frankie de Jong is signed there. Again, a magnificent signing. You can see why they've snapped him up early. He's a real talent. If we get Neves, we need a stronger back two. Yeah, we do, because they won't have as much protection in front of them, really. Doucouré is French as well, would link in nicely with Pogba, Martial, maybe Varane, if we get Varane. It's a good shape, but Solskjaer is the problem, someone just said, not Pogba. You can't say Pogba when he was put out on the left-hand side of midfield. Yeah, I didn't like how Pogba was being pulled out to the left, to be honest. I didn't think that was playing into his hands. However, I think Pogba being captain doesn't seem to suit him. I think every time he's had the captain's armband, we've kind of haven't seen the best of him. It's like he takes on too much responsibility. It feels the need to kind of try and get on the ball, even if it means him dropping really deep to get on the ball. And he was far too deep the other day. He's not effective. He's more of a liability when he's near our own box, because they'll try and do something clever and lose the ball. Now, doing something clever right up the pitch isn't an issue as much, but doing it in your own half is an issue. So I think Pogba needs to be further forward in a free roam role. Definitely, we don't want him dropping too deep to get on the ball, because that's what happened the other day. Someone just said Gerrard over Scholes. Do I agree? No. Scholes is my idol, my favourite player of all time, so I'm definitely not agreeing with that one. Andrew says, let's just get the French national team, but keep De Gea. Yeah, I'm not getting Lloris, but let's get everyone else, including Mbappe. A lot of people bigging up Neves. He seems to be the fan favourite at the minute, as the kind of guy that we want. Samaria said, love your channel. Soph, learn a lot from you. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. I hope you're well. The captaincy is a shackle around Pogba. I agree. I think psychologically it doesn't seem to do any favours. You don't need an armband to make you a leader. Pogba is a leader. I'm not saying he's not. However, he doesn't need an armband to prove that. He can still be a leader and not have the captain's armband. And I don't think he should be captain. I really don't. Scholes was the greatest English footballer of all time. Count the trophies, says Dougie. Get Varane and Mbappe. Imagine those two at United. Just imagine. Right wing is United's problem. You can buy a centre back and a CDM, but no right wing, and you're still going to have problems. I think I'm probably going to get a lot of stick for saying this now, because I know there's a lot of people who love Anthony Martial. For me, when he has a game where he's completely at it, a bit like I said earlier with Zaha, he's unplayable at times. He beats players for fun. He's so strong running with the ball. If you look at his goal against Fulham, and he can finish, he definitely can. But how often is it that we actually see Martial 100% on his game? Is it enough? I don't think it is. I think we see too many games where Martial is a bit like he was against Wolves, where he doesn't look like he really wants to beat him, and he gets the ball and he plays it simple. He doesn't do enough runs in behind. And it guts me, because I think Martial is an absolute superb player, a great talent. But I think we need to see more from him going forwards, especially on the ball. I think he needs to be more confident trying to beat a man, because the frustrating thing is for me, it's a bit like when you look at Antonio Valencia, when he doesn't try and run past the man, when he's one of the fastest players I think I've ever seen, and he just does that little dance around the ball. Martial, when he runs at players, it's very rare that players can actually stop him, because he's so powerful. He's got obviously really quick feet. And I don't think we see that enough from Tony Martial, and I want to see that more from him. I know there's a lot of people who say Martial is world class. We should be building a team around him and all of this, which, yes, he's got world class potential, but we don't see enough of it in a United shirt at the minute. We really don't. And he needs to be doing it more. I know he's been injured, so I'm not judging him purely on the Wolves game. Please don't think I am, because he has been injured and he's not fully fit, obviously, because he's pulled out of the France squad. But he needs to be more proactive on the ball. I really do think that. Carvalho from Sporting. I don't know how I feel about William Carvalho, to be honest with you. Matuidi, though, I do really like at Juventus. I don't think he will leave there, though, to be honest. One thing I saw against Wolves was Matic was playing deep, playmaking role, well, and got ahead a lot without any end product. Those are the times we need someone like Neves to be a threat. Yeah, and I said earlier, Matic is so one-footed, it's unreal. And I think that really affects our attacking play, because he has to get the ball onto his left foot in order to play a forward pass. And by the time he's done that, obviously the pass is gone. Has your dad given you a stick about the result against Hayes, George? Yes, he has. Literally straight after George. The second I got signal again on my phone, that was it. Kimmich at right back. I do like Kimmich, to be honest. I think he's a very, very good player. It's a good shout as well, because as I said earlier, there's not many right backs or full backs in general, really, who stand out anymore, are there? So, do you think we can sign Neves? I think Neves is a very doable deal. Obviously, we've got to entice him away from Wolves, but I'm sure we can do that. But yeah, I think he's definitely a doable deal, definitely. Doucouré is French and he can hit a shot. Him or Neves. Doucouré is definitely a player who's been standing out this season at Watford. I've seen him many times boss the midfield. He's looked an absolute beast at times. He's a good shape, to be honest. I think I'd rather have Neves over him technically, but Doucouré is a good player. The other thing I wanted to talk about, because I spoke a lot about United in this video, was Man City against Swansea the other day. The VAR that obviously wasn't used for the Sterling penalty, and then obviously Bernardo's goal apparently was offside as well. I was in the pub at that point, so I didn't see the Bernardo, but the Sterling, was it a penalty? Wasn't it a penalty? Should VAR have intervened in that game, do you think? Because I remember seeing it. I think I tweeted. I'd had a few drinks, but I think I did tweet something not very pleasant about Man City. But I think it was just more frustration, because I just knew it. I just knew they were going to get back into the game somehow. Obviously, it turned out being a penalty that did it. And from the little clips that I saw, it didn't look like it was much of a penalty to me. It looked like Sterling went over very easily. VAR should have been called upon. But yeah, it got me very frustrated seeing that. Hi, Mr. E, I hope you're good. City are real life mum's credit card FC. I like that. Yes, very true. VAR should be used in every game or no game at all. It's a very good statement. It needs to be consistent, doesn't it? When VAR comes in, Smalling is going to spend half the season suspended, always hugging opponents. I made that comment to someone not long ago. He always holds on to people, doesn't he? He's always got a hold of someone's shirt, and he's going to come back to bite him definitely next season. I agree with that. The photo behind is one of Matthew's offside graphics, George Best posters. I have also got Rashford going on as well in the background. But yeah, that is George Best. Let's see these VAR comments. A lot of people agree with me that VAR should have been used. But in terms of the draw, Wolves, Watford, isn't it? And obviously Man City against Brighton. It was almost Millwall, went all the way to penalties. But Man City against Brighton. City obviously favourites to win it, but I'm just praying that Wolves can win that now. At least then we've gone out to the winners. Obviously, for my family is that as well. I hope that Wolves go on and win it. And you know what? They've got a realistic shot. I think Watford is a bit of a dodgy draw, because Watford on their day can be a very, very tough team. They've already beaten Wolves this season as well. But I think for Wolves, it's very doable now. It's very doable. The way that they're playing at the minute as well, I think they can definitely win that competition. Man City, of course, is a horrible, horrible side for them. But I think in the final, they could do it. They really could, and I pray that they do as well. I really do, because I don't want City getting the FA Cup. Thoughts on Liverpool to win the league if City will win the quadruple? I've already touched on that one, George. I said the idea of City winning the quadruple for me is sad because of our treble. I kind of don't want anything to overshadow that. because the treble being obviously so magnificent and respectful. I kind of feel like City be like, oh, you only won 3, we've got 4, kind of thing. Even though that we all know they've kind of brought that, but so I don't want City getting a quadruple. But I can see Liverpool winning the league. I really can. Ryan's right. Please do like, share, and subscribe. I do appreciate your support, guys. Which will be worse? Someone's asking the same: City quadruple or Liverpool winning the league. They are both absolutely terrible. They're both terrible. I take the idea of it. I think City will have brought it. We all know that, and I just think that Liverpool winning the league is feeling more and more inevitable now. At first, I was thinking they're going to slip up, they're going to bottle it, and City are going to take it. But now I must admit, because results and decisions, let's face it, are going Liverpool's way, I just got a horrible feeling that they're going to win it this year. FA Cup, Wolves, League, City, Champions League, Man United. I hope that prediction is right. Put a bet on that. Put a bet on that now. I would love that. I would love that to come true. Definitely, I would definitely love that to come true. International break is the last thing I want to talk about. I've already mentioned Hudson-Odoi has been called up. How do you guys feel about that one? I think it's a bit random and a bit out of the blue. I said I would absolutely love Conor Cody to be called up to the England team. I think he's been such a rock at the back for Wolves. The way he's switched position and he's been superb for them. The way he reads the game, his passing ability. I think that Conor Cody should have been given a chance. However, there are some good defenders in front of him. I do get that, but I would like to have seen him there. Hudson-Odoi, I think he's very talented. He is very, very, very talented. Sancho obviously is there as well, but is it a bit soon for him to be called up? I hope he takes his chance. I really do. I hope he's absolutely fantastic. If you guys beat Wolves, then if you guys can't beat Wolves, then how do you expect to beat Barca? Hopefully our players will be fitter, fully fit, should I say. That's my one answer to Peter there. It doesn't always work like that, does it? I could also say the same thing, like how come Wolves going to beat Watford, yet they could beat United? It doesn't work like that, funnily enough, football. I'm surprised James Maddison hasn't been called up. Yeah, I agree completely. Do you think Rojo and Darmian will be at United next season? I'll be very surprised if they are. So, no, I don't think they will. With Icardi's problems, would you swap him for Lukaku? I've got to be careful how I word this one because people think I've got an agenda against Lukaku and I haven't. Lukaku has scored some really important goals of late. He really has. He's also missed some very important chances. So it's hard for me to comment. I think if we build a team around Rom in the right way, he can be really, really effective for us. I really do. So it's a bit of a tough one. Who deserves more of a call book, Wan-Bissaka or Hudson-Odoi? Wan-Bissaka, of course, definitely has played more than him this season. So I'd definitely have to say him. But the idea of an attacking prospect of Hudson-Odoi, Sancho, obviously very, very young players, is very exciting for England. And Southgate does like to play exciting football, doesn't he? So I can kind of see why Hudson has been called up. The best player at the minute, you've got to say, though, for England in terms of English players at the minute, the best player in form has got to be Raheem Sterling. I know I just commented on his penalty, with questionable penalty, but Sterling this season has been absolutely superb for City, hasn't he? It kills me to say that because one, I'm not a massive fan of Raheem Sterling, and two, obviously he plays for City and he has played for Liverpool. But you know what? I'm a football fan, and I've got to be honest and say I think Raheem Sterling has had an absolute fantastic season for his club. But for England, he needs to prove now that he can carry it on for his country because for City, he's been fantastic. He scored some really, really important goals for them this season as well. And I think credit where it's due to Raheem Sterling. He's had a lot of issues as well, obviously racism issues off the pitch. And I just think he's been fantastic. But out of that City team, around different players, I'm sure in this international break we may see it. Has Sterling improved? Or is it because he's playing in a better team? And that's the question that we need answering now, really, because for England, his performances have been questionable, especially his finishing. So I think we need to see more of it in an England shirt now, definitely. Sterling looks like a new man of late. I agree. To be fair, the poor pen decision wasn't his fault. That's on the ref, definitely. I completely agree with that. I don't think it was a dive from Sterling, to be honest. George agrees with me, says take him out to City and he's not world class in his opinion. Just sort of a funny comment about Sterling's run. He does run a bit funny, Raheem Sterling, but he's lightning quick, isn't he? What do you think of the rumours about Sanchez going to Juventus? For me, he can go, Daniel. To be honest, he hasn't done enough in a United shirt. I don't think he will do enough in a United shirt now. I think his time may be up with this injury. It's a shame because I always wanted to see the best of him. But I think he's lost the yard of pace and that's really affected his game for the worse. So I would happily let him go to Juventus as long as we've got, obviously, a decent rate for him. I think he should go. I don't think I've ever seen Sterling have a good game for England. No, I think he has had a good game, but his finishing has always been questionable, hasn't he? He's missed some really, really easy chances. He seemed to panic when he got into the box, whereas at City he doesn't seem to be doing that as much this season. So I think we need to see more of his top class finishing now in an England shirt. I still believe City's defence is a weakness. Fernandinho hopefully gets injured, and that will weaken them considerably. I don't want him to get injured because I don't want Liverpool to win the league. So I hope he doesn't get injured because he is such a massive part of their squad, definitely. Who do you think will win Young Player of the Year? That's a good question. It's a good question. Sancho has obviously got to be up there, but I think from the Premier League, if you're looking at players in the Prem, Wan-Bissaka's got to be up there, hasn't he? He's been fantastic this season. Mr. Wellwell said Fosu-Mensah question mark. I don't think Fosu-Mensah is good enough. I don't think he's good enough, and it kills me to say that. But I think he's proved that on his loans. He hasn't really put himself in a good light. I know he's gone to poor clubs. He has. Like Fulham defensively are awful this season. However, for me, Fosu-Mensah hasn't really lived up to the hype that people first expected of him. But in terms of young player, does Rashford qualify as a young player still? Surely he does, because I think he's had a good season. He does need to improve his form of late, but he has had a very good season as well. Robertson from Liverpool, someone just said he'll be up for Young Player of the Year. He has been another outstanding signing for them. Bombs up and down that left-hand side like it's nothing. The problem with Rashi, Lingard and Martial is there seem to always be inconsistency. Can be world-class one day and then ordinary the next. I agree completely. We need some more consistency from them all. I mentioned Martial earlier, but it applies to all of them. We need to see it more consistently. We see the odd game, but we need to see more of that, don't we? Definitely. Do you think De Gea's distribution is letting us down a bit? I think De Gea has seemed a bit off colour of late. Obviously, there's a lot of issues going on with his contract in the background, which I'm sure is playing on his mind. I wouldn't necessarily blame De Gea because I think he's won us so many points. Of course, he has over the years. And keepers, when they make a mistake, it's often more looked on. Of course, it is. But I think, yeah, he has looked a bit off colour of late. And I do think that this contract situation is playing on his mind. And I just hope that gets resolved really, really soon. I really do. It kills me, but Trent Alexander has been amazing this year. Very, very good right back. I agree. He's superb. It kills you to say it does, but sometimes you have to hold your hands up and say, look, teams are playing better football than us. Teams have got better football players than us sometimes. And yes, it's not nice, but if you're a football fan, then you appreciate it. So, yeah, I can see why it kills you to say it, but he has been superb this season, definitely. Right then, guys, this has been my first Richard's Ramble for a while, but I really enjoyed doing these where we get to just chat about all things football. Obviously, we have talked a lot about United, but I like to just talk in general about football. So it's good to have a chat with you guys and interact. I appreciate you all tuning in. If you haven't already, please do hit that sub button and subscribe to Hairdry Treatment. Your support really does mean a lot. If I haven't answered your questions, I haven't purposely ignored them. I just have a lot coming through. So please drop a comment and I'll obviously respond as much as I can to them as well. I hope you all have a lovely evening. I'll be back live tomorrow from 6 PM for the FIFA Social live stream. So I'm looking forward to that one. I will be making some transfers definitely for that game as well to hopefully get a striker and strengthen my team. But yeah, thank you all. Hope you have a lovely evening. Take care.